this little short clip is going to be a little bit on pipe fittings, miscellaneous stuff. I'm going to be hooking up a Y connection hopefully later today here. I'm going to be splitting the oxygen and the propane through a Y connection, and one of those connections will go to a foot pedal and then to the outer ring of the torch, and the other one will go directly to the center fire. Just wanted to talk briefly about the different types of fitting. Of course, you have your this is a barb connector. Of course, you can tell from this high quality camera that that's 3/8. Have your hex nut, very typical stuff here. This is where it can probably get a little bit confusing for some people. You have different kinds of threads, and so you kind of gotta do your homework a little bit and figure out what the difference is between pipe threads and other types of threads. But one thing you'll notice here, whenever you're hooking up a barb connection, you see this guy here, I don't know if you can tell, has got a tapered edge on the inside of it. Now this particular one has actually two, so this is obviously one that a barb connection would go on both sides. This differs slightly from this guy right here, which this one has a tapered edge on one side, but yet the other one is just as pipe threads, and it's not tapered. So be sure you're not putting a barbed connection into there. You should know, because it probably won't fit very well. Another thing that you can notice between the two, whenever we have a tapered edge on a fitting on the inside for a barbed connection, the thread always stops about a 1/4 inch away from the hex part of the fitting there. So that's how you always kind of know that it's going to be a tapered connection, and this side is just a pipe thread. This is going to actually go into the solenoid on this side for my outer ring. This is going to connect the hose, of course, to this fitting, which will then go into the solenoid. As far as where to buy these, of course, you can get them online, a lot of places. A place I've been going to is just a local welding shop in town. There's called Lin Weld. There's also an Air Gas. And those places, it's kind of nice because then you don't have to surf through all the stuff online and try to figure out exactly what you got going on. But you do need to do your homework a little bit before you go in there, because these guys are very helpful, but then they know TIG welding and all these other kinds of welding that I really don't know anything about. So going in there with a propane oxygen, glass blowing torch, so probably throws them off just a little bit. So do your homework before you go in there. Some guys are really knowledgeable, and the other guys are so-so. So it's just like any other place that you get support, or any other company. Sometimes you get the guy that knows a lot. Sometimes you get the guy that's pretty new and doesn't know a whole lot. So so you got to be kind of careful in there. I've gotten a few wrong fittings a few times, but that's all kind of sort of how we learn. This is my gated Y splitter valve here. I got a gated one because I wanted to be able to, if I needed to, still be able to have the one channel open and be able to work on the other, or add something, or just it's another valve to switch on and off. And again, we have our hex nut and barbed connector. So just pretty much standard setup there. You don't have to go with a gated valve, of course. So anyway, so that's a little bit on the oxygen and propane fittings. Another thing I want to talk real quick about is hose. Because obviously everybody knows you need T-grade hose and not R-grade, but I was able to ask the other day what the difference was, mainly because I went to the welding place. I need a little bit of a 1/4 inch barbs. Excuse me, hold on, we have a party crasher here. So anyways, I went into the welding shop looking for some hose. I needed some off the reel, like 1/4 inch T-grade, because in my setup I'm going to be going 3/8 into the Y, and then from here on out it's going to be 1/4 inch. The GTT torches all come with, well, I don't know about all. My Phantom came with 1/4 inch inlets hooked up to the torch already. So I'm gonna go 1/4 inch from the Y valves on to the torch. That's going to kind of be how I approach that. Real quickly back to the hose. Went in to get some, asked the guy for 15-foot T-grade 1/4 inch off the reel, and so he brought out some hose, and I asked him, hey, that's T-grade, right? And he's like, oh, yep. A pretty good sign that warned me that it wasn't, as I saw that it said acetylene only on the hose, and I'm not a expert on that, but I know usually when you have something like that, that means it's not going to work for propane because it says acetylene only. And I asked him what the difference was between the R grade and the T grade, and he said basically T grade's real rubber, and R grade is a synthetic, and the synthetic, that's why it gums up a little bit, because it is synthetic and can't take all the temperature fluctuations. So anyway, so that's just a little quick spiel on fittings and different kind of stuff like that. Of course, like I said, again, you can find them online, or if you have a welding store, a Lin Weld or Air Gas or anything like that, those places, or even, sometimes you can find them at a hardware store, depending on, the individual store. So that's a little brief spiel about pipe fittings or threads and all that kind of stuff that I've been going over the last couple of weeks, just to make sure I got the right kind of setup. So I think I'm going to go ahead and install and get the center fire going in my torch, hopefully today. I think that's about it for right now. We'll be, after I complete the Y connection, probably do a little shot of that, and then I'm going to do another video on hooking up the solenoid valves for the foot switch. That should be an interesting one. I'll probably take a little time and try to make sure that one's detailed and listed out a little bit more, so maybe everybody else can see a little bit what I went through to try to learn, and if it helps somebody else and saves a little bit of money, then that's awesome. So, alright, well, thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.